Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The question is always, if you have, for example, the A1 here in Europe, the maximum is 125 cc and maximum of 15 horsepower, and I get a lot of questions, is 15 horsepower is enough? The question is, enough for what? Can you go on a highway and drive with 15 horsepower? Yes. Can you overtake cars? Yes, to be honest, I never had a problem with this 125. Can you overtake sportive cars? No. Will you be the fastest motorbike? Of course not. But you can do almost everything. So your skill level determine how fast you can go, for example, on a corner, but not the motorbike. So if, for example, you can drive in a corner around 80 km per hour, it doesn't matter which motorbike you have, you can drive with 125 80 km per hour in a corner, and if you can do it with your skills, you can do it. Even if you are driving a Hayabusa, your maximum will be 80, because the motorbike can reach 100. But if your target is to drive at 200 kilometers per hour, no, you cannot reach it with this. And if you are a beginner, it's very risky to drive at this fast speed. To be honest, it doesn't matter what kind of skills you have. Driving at 200 on a motorbike is very risky, even if you have full gears. It's too much. Because imagine that jumping out of a car at 200. To be honest, I don't know if I will do it if I have a motorbike or stronger than this or not. But to be honest, most of the time, if I reach 120, I'm more than satisfied, because the fun with motorbikes is the lean angle. And the lean angle you can get in the country roads. So most of the time I'd like to drive in the country roads, and not on the highway. And on the country roads, the maximum speed usually is 100. So, and the curves is even designed for 70 kilometers in the majority of them here in the area. So 70 kilometers per hour you can do quite easily with the motorbike, is the 125. If you have A2, then you have more power. If you have the full license, then you can drive whatever you like. If you started driving a motorbike quite older, not 16 or 18, then you can maybe go directly to the motorbike, and even if you don't have experience, you are allowed to drive any motorbike. But I wouldn't recommend going very high on the motorbikes, because with too much power, you have if you do a small mistake, it can turn into a disaster. For example, if you don't have really a very good skill in managing the throttle and the shifting and the clutch, it will be really a problem if you handle something with more than 30 or 40 horsepower. With the small motorbikes, like this one, 15 horsepower or even 30 horsepower, let's say if you downshift quite two gears, for example, and the motorbike will be very high on the RPM, using too much power, even if the car or the back wheel will not actually drift because of this. In the high power motorbikes, you will drift with your motorbike, and that's very hard to control. Especially for corners, to be honest, the experience that people most of the time have when they move to a higher motorbike in the corner and they downshift inside the corner, which is not very good to do. But if you downshift in a very powerful motorbike and you still don't have the experience with the clutch and you let it go, you will have a lot of troubles in the curve. and that's actually the reason why you start your license with an A1, and then you upgrade to A2, and then you go to the full license, because learning on a small motorbike is much more forgiven. So if you do a mistake and you just wrongly shift down too much, or if you let the clutch go quite fast in a corner, you will not have this trouble, because the difference in the power is not high, and you will not have this much troubles in the corner. Some people will tell you, yeah, but if you have the full license, why you don't go very high on the power? And anyway, after a couple of weeks you will get used to it, and you will need a higher power in your motorbike. Not completely true, because after 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, you will be able to manage your motorbike quite well. But you still don't have the skill, because the skill comes from the hard situation that you will get. Everyone can drive a motorcycle in a straight line. Your experience comes from the hard time that you discover a curve that you were not prepared for it, and if you are not prepared for it, and you decide, okay, I need to change my speed in the curve, and that's when you get your experience. If you don't have this kind of situations, you don't have experience that much. It doesn't matter how kilometers you drive. If you drive on the highway in a straight line for 2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers, it doesn't mean that you have a lot of experience. Yes, you can drive the motorbike, but it doesn't mean that you have the experience, the needed experience to go higher. And it's not about one situation, two situations, it's the skill that you build over years. So I would say, if you have the full license, don't go above like 50 or 70 horsepower. That's too powerful, and you can do a lot of things with it. But going and buying a Hayabusa or a BMW 1000 RR, that's a lot, and you will not be able to manage it safely, because everyone have a skill. So it doesn't mean that it's not like a car that, the curve can be taken on 70 or 80 km per hour, so if my friend did it, then I can do it. No, because it depends on your skill, how much you can push the motorbike, and the lean angle is different, even for the same person. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I can lean the bike quite far because now I'm in a mood, but sometimes I actually not able to, or cannot lean the bike that far, because maybe I'm not focused that much, or maybe there's a lot of reasons that can happen, that you are not really in the shape or in the form. It's the same like football players when they say they weren't in the form today. So not every day you will go and ride your motorbike in the best mood. Even if you're driving it daily, sometimes you know that, okay, that's me, I can do it, and sometimes you say, no, today I have to be careful in this curve. And also the sudden situations, like for example inside a curve and there is a car wrongly parked in the curve, how you can swerve quickly with your motorbike. This kind of experience you get it by situations, not by kilometers.